Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this session. My name is Zhaoyuan Chen from the Southwestern University of Finance and Economics in China. My field of research focuses on tax policy. Before I begin, I would like to express my appreciation to the conference organizers for providing this opportunity and to all of you for taking the time to listen. Today, I'm pleased to present our study titled Environmental Regulation, Tax Creditworthiness, and Corporate Bank Lending. In this research, we examine how China's environmental protection tax reform affects firms' access to bank credit and how the creditworthiness helps shape this relationship. In the next few minutes, I will walk you through the background, methodology, and key findings of our work. Here is the outline of my presentation, and I will start with the introduction, then move on to the data and methodology, present the empirical results, and end with the main conclusions. Let me start with the background motivation. Environmental protection is a global priority, and in China, the dual carbon goals and the growing green finance increase firms' environmental responsibilities. Bank credit remains the main source of external financing, especially in China. So understanding what affects lending is important. Tax credit rating provides banks with a credible signal of compliance and credibility, helping reduce the information gaps and potentially improve access to loans. In 2018, China implemented the environmental protection tax reform, replacing the old charge fee with a standard legally binding tax. It covers like the air, water, solid waste, etc., with unified rates and stronger enforcement. So our study looks at how this reform affects firms' access to bank credit and whether tax credit rating influences effects. Now let's move to this slide. I will introduce the data and methodology. We use the firm-level financial data from the CSMAR, covering China's Asian-listed companies from 2012 to 2021. Financial firms like the ST firms are excluded to ensure the comparability. Tax credit ratings comes from China's State Taxation Administration, with a grade A as the highest. By combining financial data and tax ratings, we can study how firms comply and affect the bank lending under environmental regulation. Now I will introduce the key variables used in our analysis. The dependent variable is the corporate bank lending. Is measured as the ratio of the bank loans to the sum of the bank loans and equity. This reflects a firm's reliance on bank credit and serves as a proxy for the access to the external financing. The independent variable is a policy dummy. It means that it equals to 1 for the post-reform periods and 0 for the pre-reform period. And our main moderating variable is a tax creditworthiness. Firms that received an A-level tax ratings in 2014 are coded as 1, indicating high compliance and credibility. Finally, we also include a series of control variables such as the ROE, the TOP, etc. In this slide, I will briefly introduce our methodology. We use a difference in difference specification. The key explanatory variable policy is a treatment indicator to 1 for the firm that are affected by the reform after the 2018 and 0 otherwise. We also control for the firm and year fixed effect like the mu-I and the VT. In this slide, we first explore the dynamic effects of the reform. We use an event study model. In this section, we examine the impact of policy each year relative to its improvement, with the year dummy before the reform set as a reference period, and the coefficient beta k on the yearly indicators capture the both pre-treatment trends and the post-treatment response, helping us verify the parallel trends assumption and explore any negative effects. Now, I will present the main findings, like the baseline findings. Look at the four sample in columns 1 and 2. We see that the reform significantly reduced the firm's bank borrowing, both without and with control variables. When we split firms into high credit groups and low credit groups, like we see in column 3 and 4, we show that the negative effect is smaller for high credit firms, while in column 5 and 6, we showed a stronger negative effect for low credit firms. Now we look at the event study results. The figure shows the dynamic effects of the reform, with the first sample in red and the high credit groups in green and the low credit groups in blue. Before the reform, the coefficients are not significantly different from 0, indicating no pre-treatment effects. However, after the reform, a significant negative effect on corporate bank lending appears. In these slides, we also show the heterogeneity by ownership, like the column 1 and 2. We see that the lending reduction is larger for SOEs, it's the set of the entrepreneurs. For the non-SOEs, this is because the SOEs are larger and face stronger environmental responsibilities. In column 3 and 4, we see that we separate the groups by region, and firms in non-Eastern areas shows a bigger decline compared with Eastern firms, reflecting weaker financial markets and fewer financing alternatives. In this slide, we also explore why the reform reduced the bank lending. We examine 3 channels. The first one is the profitability in column 1, and the second one is the CSR in column 2, and the third one is the R&D investment in column 3. We see all of these 3 declined after reform. In this slide, we make a simple sum. The reform clearly reduced the bank lending and the tax credit ratings moderate this effect. High-rated firms are less affected, while low-rated firms are face tighter credit. The mechanism works through 3 channels like the profitability, CSR, and R&D. We also see that the impact are stronger for SOEs and firms in non-eastern regions. Finally, I would like to sincerely thank you for the conference organizers for this opportunity to present our research. Since time is limited, I have to end in this time. I'm also very greatly appreciate for your attention and interest in our work. If anything is unclear or you have any question about our work, please feel free to reach me by this email. I will be happy to clarify or discuss further. Thank you for your listening.